Comic books meet heist movies in Marvel's Ant-Man, which is out on Blu-ray and DVD now, and stars Paul Rudd as the incredible shrinking superhero. I'm Jan, and this is 15 things you probably didn't know about Ant-Man. In order to de-age Michael Douglas in the opening scene, the filmmakers employed Lola VFX, whose work features in films such as Benjamin Button and the Captain America movies. Lola examined footage of Douglas in films such as the 1987 movie Wall Street, looking at how Douglas's face moved as he spoke in lighting and angles similar to what they needed in Ant-Man. Also, a younger double was filmed on the Ant-Man set, repeating each take that Michael Douglas did with exactly the same lighting. The footage of Douglas's double acted as a guide for the visual effects team as to how younger skin moved when speaking Hank Pym's dialogue. To create the 1989 Michael Douglas we see in Ant-Man, Lola VFX added a little digital fat to the present-day Douglas's cheeks, thickened and darkened his hair, lifted his eyebrows, reduced the size of his ears and nose, removed visible blood vessels from his nose, and erased some of the wrinkles from his ears. When Ant-Man director and lifelong Marvel fan Peyton was in high school, he did a pencil drawing that recreated the 1963 cover of the Avengers issue 1, but with a difference. He drew each of the guys in his high school punk band as a different member of the famous superhero team. And who did Reed draw himself as? None other than Ant-Man. As part of his preparation to play Ant-Man, Paul Rudd learned how to box, which he says was actually the very first time in his life he'd ever punched anyone. Apart from the opening and closing of Ant-Man's mask, which was done digitally, Ant-Man's costume is a practical suit put together by the costume department, unlike, for example, Iron Man's suit, which is partly practical but mostly built digitally in post-production. As Ant-Man's suit is supposed to have been made in the 1960s, costume designer Sammy Sheldon Differ and head suit designer Ivo Caveney decided to add to the suit's retro look by deliberately leaving screws showing. Although Differ and Caveney tried to keep as close as possible to both the comic books and the concept designs from Marvel's visual development team, some elements had to be altered to make sure the suit worked for the actor and stunt performers wearing it. For example, the original helmet had a mandible around the jawline when it was open, but that had to be repositioned to allow a clear view of Paul Rudd's face. The Ant-Man helmet made for the movie is made up of 54 individual components, and that's not including all the nuts and bolts and the interior lining. Each Ant-Man suit contains over 150 LEDs in order to light up various pieces, and to ensure the lighting was adjustable, there was a massive circuitry and a battery hidden in a very small backpack. The lights in each suit, helmet, belt and gloves were controlled by remote. In total, the movie's costume designers made 13 Ant-Man suits, 17 helmets, 17 belts, 15 backpacks, 8 pairs of gloves and 6 pairs of shoes. Because the Ant-Man suit was so hot to wear, cold packs were built into it and a hose was hooked up to the back of the suit in order to keep actor Paul Rudd cool during filming. Actor and huge comic book fan Corey Stoll, who plays the villainous Darren Cross, wore a motion capture suit on set to film his action scenes as Yellowjacket. However, Yellowjacket's super high-tech suit was actually created entirely digitally in post-production by visual effects studio Double Negative. The costume department also created a full-size Yellowjacket body from the waist upwards. However, it wasn't used in the final movie. It was just filmed at the end of each Yellowjacket scene to give the visual effects team a lighting reference. When actor Dastmalchian needed to learn a Russian-American accent to play computer hacker Kurt, he decided against the traditional voice coach route. Instead, he turned to friend and fellow actor Isidora Goreshta, who plays Svetlana in TV's Shameless, and hung out with her Russian family to perfect his accent. And occasionally, if he was on set and stuck about how to pronounce something, he'd ring her up and ask how her dad would say it. Now, what do you think of Ant-Man, and what would you like to see in the sequel with Ant-Man and the Wasp? Let me know in the comments below. If you're a Marvel fan, you might like to check out my things you didn't know about Avengers Age of Ultron and Daredevil here. And I've also made a video with almost every single Easter egg in season 1 of Jessica Jones. For more videos like this, do please subscribe, like and share. Coming up next will be things you didn't know about Star Wars The Force Awakens. Thanks for watching and see you next time, yippee-ki-yay movie lovers!